Okay, so I believe broadcasting has now started. Let me just verify it. Yeah, it's working. I hope my sound is audible. So basically, what we are trying to do now, we'll just go through this Power Query M language, and then we will try to explore all the functions. So I have a sample data as well to do the practice, and then we'll just get into this. Just open this queries and connections. Okay. Mm, 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 Okay. So let me just explore. So basically, let us just take the practice questions from Copilot. Let's see. It's taking some time. Mhm. Okay. So write the so we have received some sample questions. Let us do the practice one by one. So we have some basic transformation and then filtering and sorting and then columns and aggregation, advanced scenarios. And what we will do, we will not, we'll try not to use these options because the session is all about the M code. So basically it is not to use the graphical user interface and it is, it has more to do with the M coding language. So let us try that. So first question is write the M code to remove all the rows where the column sales is null. Okay, so suppose we have column, but we do not have any column with the null values. So let us just add one first. So just add a column. So as I was saying that we can use this add column function over there and we can add a column like add uh, a column and then we can just add null value. And this function will add a column with all the rows with null values. So this is a very simple option, but as I was saying that let us not do this through graphical user interface, which we already have in Power Query. We'll try to do this with the M coding language. So let us do this. So let's get into this advanced editor option. Uh, let's try this. So I'll add a column Mm, so the step name is add column, and then what we will do, we'll use the function of table add column, and then it asks for a table where you want to add that column. So previous table was this, so we'll have to use that changed type. Then the next function is what is the column name. So let us add this column name, mm, new column. Okay. Now the third option is it is asking for the function. What uh like function? So when you add a column, there must be some values in each of the rows, right? So basically, it is asking for a function which will generate those values. So you can like our purpose is just to add a null value in all the rows. So we can just write it like this, and then of course the output will have to change. I'll just get into what other options which we can do here. Mm, it's getting difficult. Mhm. So the output should be add column. So we can do this, and then it will add a column with the name new column, and each of the rows will have the values as null. So that was a basic functionality. Of course, what we can do more is that we can add some calculation over there as well. So suppose this is a sales value column, right? So what we can do over here is that it can take a 10% of the sales value and then put it over here. So let us try that also. So instead of null value, what we will do, we'll use the column sales. It is case sensitive, so I'll have to use the caps as well and then multiply it with 10%. Mm, let us try this. Okay, so it is giving some error. The tails of the record was not found. Mhm. Okay, let us remove this mm, column quality and then it will give you the error. So we cannot apply the operator to text. Okay. So we can always do this testing. So suppose our function is not working. We can go through this custom option and see why is it not working. So we were trying to take the sales, sorry, not sales price. We were trying to, okay. So the sales has an extra white space. That is why it was not working. Okay. So what we will have to do, let us change this. Uh, so there you see an extra space is there. Let me just remove that. It should work now. And now if we do this sales, yeah, it should work now. Let's see. Yeah, it is working. So basically, what was happening in the sales column, there was an extra space in the name, and that is where it was not picking up that particular column. It was not able to identify that particular column. So that is why it was unable to do the calculation. So the funda is simple. We can just let us try that once again. Let me do this advanced editor first, and then let us add another column, add a column 2. And what we are trying to do, we are trying to add a column. So we will have to use the function table add column, and then we'll have to put the, like, we'll have to give the source of the table on in which we are trying to add the column. So the previous table was add column. So I have given the reference for that. Now we will have to, so basically the hint is always there already in this advanced editor option. So you can just follow these options and everything will be fine. So new column name. So whenever you put the name, of course, it is a text type. So you need to put it in double quote. New column 2, a very innovative name. Okay. Now it is asking for the function. So again, as I was saying that we can use uh, the function like each. So basically each means we are trying to apply this formula to each of the rows in that particular column. Unless you do that, it will give an error because whenever you put, whenever you try to add a column, of course, you'll have to give what value you are trying to add in each of the rows. So without each, the formula will be incomplete. So each, and then what is the function which you are trying to use to derive the value which you want to put in the new column too. So you can put it as null if you want to keep it blank. You can do some calculation as well, like I was doing earlier, the 10% of sales value, or maybe we can do sales minus COGS. So we can calculate that with profit. So let us do that. Sales minus COGS, cost of goods sold, and then it will give you the value. Now we are trying to put procure the output. It will be 2. So we'll have to put a comma over there because each of the lines should end with a comma except the last line. That is the syntax. Code. So done, and then it will give you the profit. So you can see this new column 2. We have done sales minus COGS, so it is matching with the profit column. So another thing which we can do over here is that we can further check if this particular column is matching with the profit column or not. Ideally, it should match, right? So we can do that as well. So we can create another column, add column, check, and then we can use the same formula, table add column. We'll have to give the reference from the previous table, add column 2, and then uh, we can add the name of the column which we want to give. It will be checked, and then the function will be each, and we just need to check whether the profit column, profit. So we'll have to be very specific about the name of the column. It should be it matching case wise as well because it is a case sensitive language. So we'll have to check. So profit, the P is in capital in the profit. So we'll have to use it accordingly. So each profit minus, we'll have to do add column 2. No, new column 2, sorry. So we'll have to give the new column 2. And then add column check. The output will be add column check. So now it will give whether it is true or not, whether it is matching or not. So if it is true, of course it will give you. So since the value was in number format, that is why it is giving you the value as a 0. We can do further advancement. Mm, We can do trim function. We can use trim function. We can also use if else. Mm, yeah. So first of all, we'll have to okay. Uh, so we can see that the difference is right. We can add some further checks also, but right now we can see over here. We'll have to convert this into two decimal. Again, we can do this using this transform option and then getting into this rounding off round and then two decimal places. We can do like this. And again, we can see this formula over there, number and round, which we can do. So we can use that formula in the previous step as well. So I'll just delete this once again and I will get into advanced editor because right now we are having this session to do maximum steps using the advanced editor. So again, I'll just use the formula directly, number dot round, and then I'll use this formula. So we'll have to give the number first. So I've given this number, and then the next says digits. So we will have to give two digits, and then we'll have to close this. So I think it should be fine. Now you can see that everything has been rounded up to two decimal. So basically there is nothing up to two decimal. That is why it is showing completely zero. So yeah, that is it. The next task, let's see what is the next question. Create a new column that adds 10% tax to the price column. Let us do that also. So where is the price column? So sales price. We have sales price. Yeah, let us add the 10% tax value. So let's ensure that the name is rightly spelled. We can just get into editors. I'll have to put a comma because this is not going to be the last row. That is why. And I'll add the name of the step as tax 10%. Tax 10. Okay. So again, I'll have to add a column. So in order to do that, I'll have to use the function table add columns, and then it asks for a table as a reference. So I'll use the previous column, previous table. So add column check, and then the new column name, mm, price after tax, price after tax. Okay. And then we'll have to put a function to generate that value in each of the rows of this particular column. So I'll have to take a reference from this sales price column, right? So in sales price column, first of all, I'll have to write each because I need to add that value in each of the rows. And then in order to put a column as a reference, we'll have to use the uh, big bracket or large bracket. I'm not sure what it is called. So yeah, and then we'll have to use sales price. Again, this is a very case sensitive language, so I'll have to spell it exactly as it is in the file. And then I'll have to use 10%. I'm not sure why percent it is not taking, but anyways, I can divide 100. And then I need to have a price inclusive of the 10% tax. That is why I'll use 110%. And then I'll just change this value to, because as an output, I need this particular table as final output. So that is it. And then, yeah, that's all. So now, okay, it gives me an error. I have to check why. So again, the same issue, sales price, it is not able to pick. Okay, because I have written it as sales, not the sales. As I was saying, it is very case sensitive. Even a small mistake can lead to the error. So right now I can see the value is there, but I can see a red mark over there. So because not all of the columns are getting, so we'll have to check the column quality, why it is showing. So I can see error in 100%. Why is that? Let me do a refresh. Mm, why is that? Even though we have the value, but it is showing as an error. So let me check that sales price. So we have received the value which is reflecting exactly as we want. Still there is an error. Still saying price of the cat. Don't each. Okay, I'm not sure why it is giving an error. Let me just again, as I was saying previously, we can use the graphical and user interface to, what do I say, troubleshoot. So tax and check. So what we were trying to do is that we need to select the sales price and then 110 divided by 100. That should work. So now we have this, and this is good, right? So this formula, table add column, tax time check, sales, sale price 110. So what is the difference in this? Yeah, now it is valid, 100% valid. Maybe some refreshing part was missing. So anyways, let me just remove this part. Okay, so sometime it takes some time to refresh the whole report. So now we can see the uh, what do I say, column quality is 100% valid. So this is good. Let us go. Let us just save this first, and then we can proceed. I do not want to lose the data. Okay, now take the next question. Convert the date column to show only the year. Okay, okay. So let's see if we have any date column. Of course, we must be having some date column. Yes, we have some date column over there. So basically, we need to uh, take out the year only the year part from this date column. So again, we can do using this custom column as well, and we can do using transform and then split column also. We can use this split column by delimiter, and then we can do like this each occurrence, and then yeah, so it will divide the error the year also. So we can do like this, and also we can see the formula which is being used, table transform column types, and then split column by delimiter. It is giving the type of the data which you want to do. So we can use this, but I was referring to some other. So what we can do is, mm-mm. So what it did. Mm, 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 mm. Table split column. Table split column and then table transform column types. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, I can do this, no problem. So let us get into this advanced editor. What we can do, we will have to put a comma because this is not going to be the last column anymore. Then we will have to do, we'll have to give a name to the step, which is going to be date, year. Now we are trying to do is uh, table dot split split column, and then we'll have to give a reference. So now it is asking, so we can see over there is are some hints. So we need to give the table as a reference. So the table will be the previous column, tax 10, comma, then source column. Source column as in it will be, so we are trying to divide this column, right? Date. So we will have to give that table, sorry, column, date, or as a text. It is asking as a text. So we'll have to use double quote. Then splitter as a function. So we will have to give, so the splitter in this column is slash, forward slash, and then we will have to change the outcome, the final table. Yeah, that's it. I will leave your code, but of course it will give an error. I'm not very sure about this. So value this. Okay. Why it is not working? Let me do that. Split column. So first we will have to select the date. Date. And then split column by delimiter. Insert. Okay. So what we have done, we have given the split column, we have given the reference for the previous table, we have given the column which we want to divide, it is going to be the date column, then the function. Okay. So we have not given the function, we have just given this forward slash. So the function is splitter dot split text by delimiter. Okay. Okay. Understood. Let us get into this advanced column, advanced editor, and then the function would be split column by delimiter, splitter, split text by delimiter, and then we will have to give the input delimiter as a text. So this is how you want to do this. I think it should work. Okay. The field date. Okay. Because we have added this one, the date. Okay. Now we cannot convert the value to type text. We will also have to give in which column we want to divide code style. So code style would be CSV, comma, And this is the standard that's what that's and wrong. Let me just do this once again, no problem. We are learning, that's okay. Mm-hmm. Split column, rotate, split column, delimiter, insert. Okay. So now code style CSV and then okay. So mm, code style CSV and then date one, date two, and then date three. Okay. Now we will have to remove this. We will split columns. Let us split text by delimiter and then double inverted comma is there. Code style CSV and then this is extra. Let us review this. Okay, so date here, table spread column, previous table reference, and there is an extra double inverted comma. I think this is good. Um, yeah, yeah. So this is how coding works. Even a small mistake and what do I say, like comma, double inverted comma, breaks the whole code. Okay, so now we can see there are some. So the column quality is not good. We will have to check why, and also the results are not valid to check. It's giving some error. We cannot convert the value to a type text value. That's right. Okay. So that is why it was combined with. Okay. Table column types, transform column types, and then so let me see this again. So when I was doing this, when I was doing this by a split column, So it was also doing this table transform column types, and then it was converting the date column firstly to text, and then it was applying the splitter. Okay, so what we can do is table transform column types, and then take the previous table as a reference, and then okay. Uh-huh. Okay. So it was taking table transform column types, and then it was taking let us skip this for now. It is very complicated. I'm not very versed with. Anyways, let us not waste time. Okay. So filter a table to keep only rows where region is east. Okay. Let us remove this part. Okay. So now let us do the filter. So suppose we want to take a filter of this segment column, and so we can do this filtering using this part also. Like suppose if you want to filter it use only for comment, so you can do like this. So the function is table select rows. So what we can do over here is that let me just remove this and get into advanced editor, do this manually. I'll have to add a column, comma, sorry, and then I'll have to give the name. So it will be filter government, and then the function name was table select rows, and then it will always give me the hint. So we need to put the table, previous table as a reference, and then condition as a function. So again, we'll have to use each because we want to apply this filter to each of the rows where in the column segment, again, it is a case sensitive language, so we'll have to be very careful. So segment is government, and then I'll have to change the output as well. It will be filter government. Yeah, that's all. So now it is giving me only for the filter, only for the government, so we can see over there. Yeah, all good. That was easy. Yeah. So filter a table to keep only rows where the region is west, but we have taken segment as government. Sort a table by revenue in descending order. Okay, so suppose if we want to sort this table in ascending order using the sales column. So using the graphical user interface, you can do like this, but you can also see that the function over here is this table dot sort. So what we can do, we'll just remove the step. We'll get into advanced editor and put a comma because this is not going to be the last column anymore, last row anymore. And then table sort save. So The function name was table dot sort. We'll have to give the reference of the previous table, filter government, then comparison criteria. Okay, comparison criteria. We want to sort this using sales column. Mm, Okay, so another function was mm, order sorting, order ascending, and then order ascending, and then let me just do this once again. कोई बात नहीं है, we can do this. So basically, uh, comparison is that we'll have to put the column name and then order ascending function. Okay, still in this comma, we will sort table dot sort for the government, and then I'll have to change the output as well. Table spot should work. Yeah, I believe it is working. Yes. Yeah, it is working. Not sure why that arrow was not reflecting over there. We can see that the function is also same. Okay, so एक difference है यहाँ पे double bracket है. Now this function over there is showing. Okay, so yeah, it is working. So table dot sort is a function, and then we'll have to give the reference for the previous table in which we want to apply this function, and then column name, and then the order. Okay. Next question, keep only top 5 rows of a table. So using the graphical user interface, of course, we can do that. Mm, 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 keep rows, keep top rows, and then only 5 top rows. So it removes all the other rows other than the top 5 rows. So we can see that the function over there is table dot first n. It says that the first n rows to be kept and all the other rows to be deleted. So we can use that function manually as well. I'll just remove this tab. I'll get into this advanced editor. Top 5 table dot first n. I'll have to give the reference for the previous table. Then top 5. Yeah, that should work. Yeah, it's working. So top 5 rows. Yeah, that is all. Column operation. Rename the column cust ID to customer ID. Okay. So basically, suppose if you want to change the name country to What do I say? PTRY. Yeah. Or maybe we can change the product name to product. Uh, prod. Prod. Okay. So we can do this manually as well using this graphical user interface. And then we can see the function used over there is table.rename columns. So yeah, that is very simple. We can just close this. We can get into advanced editor. Let's do this rename column, then table rename columns. Then we will have to give the reference for the previous table and then rename as list. So whenever you want to put a list, you'll have to use the second bracket and then give the name of the previous column, the old name of the column, and then the new name of the column. So it says over there that the rename as list, and then the list should contain like renames of the form old and then comma and then new. So the old name was product, right? And then new name, which we want to do is prod. Should also be in double inverted comma because it is a text. Yeah, I think it should work. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, one problem. We should give in this as an output. So now we can see the name. It has been renamed. Yeah, so it was very simple. So renaming is done. Split the column full name, first name, last name, by space. We have already done that. That was quite difficult. But splitting the date was difficult because you also need to change the type of the text um, because the date contains number and you like it is difficult to do that splitting without changing the type of the text. But you can do this with the name because it is already in text format. So yeah, we can try, but we'll just skip it for now. Okay, so merge two columns city and state into one column separated by comma. Yeah, that we can do. So let us do this using this graphical user interface first. So basically, suppose if you want to add a column, of course, you'll have to add a column which will contain segment plus country separated by a comma. Okay. So what we can do, we can just get into this advanced column. We can select segment and then use the and percent and then use a comma and then again an and percent and then select the country. So we can do this and it will create a column. I did not rename that. Sorry. So we can rename it country seg country seg. So it gives us the country, sorry, segment name, comma, and country name. So again, it uses the same function, table add column, which we were already using previously to add multiple columns. And then the same thing, like this is the formula which we want to add. So basically, we tried adding this formula where we were trying to calculate the 10% tax of the price, or we were trying to check whether the sales minus COGS equals to profit or not. So it is just the formula which we want to change over there. Otherwise the function is completely same. Table add column. So let us not waste this time on this anymore. Okay. So aggregation group by Let us try this one. Create a conditional column if the score is 50, then pass, else fail. Okay, so let us remove this. This. I don't want this. Okay, let me just save this one. So suppose you want to create a column. So suppose you want to create a column wherein you want to divide all these products. So basically this uh, sales price range between 7 to 350, right? So we can basically create a separate column which says that the sales price is below 100 or above 100. So what we can do, we can get into it. We can just create it using this graphical user interface. Also, all of these options are very compulsory. We can get into advanced column, create a custom column, and then we can check whether if the sales price is less than 100, then it will be below 100, or else it will be above 100. So this is very simple actually. It will create a column wherein all the uh, items will be divided into below 100 and above 100. So that was a very simple process. Let us do this using this advanced editor option. So again, the process will be same. So check table dot add column. We'll have to give the reference to the previous column, which is renamed columns, and then what we want to do, we want to add a column. So new name column will be checked. This is the text, so it should be in inverted comma, double quotes. Okay, and then number generator. So number generator will be if condition. So if we'll have to be very careful about the casing. If sales below 100, then below 100, else above 100. We'll have to keep the output as check. Mm, 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 mm. Check. Can it broke? Mm, 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 mm. Why it broke? There is an unknown here. Okay, okay, okay. I did not use the itch. That was simple. Okay, so why is that? If sales is below 100, then this and this. Mm, 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 mm. Why is that? Let me check. If sales is less than this, if sales less than 100, then this, else this. Oh, okay. Another minor spelling mistakes. If sales less than 100, then this, else this. Yeah. Mm. Okay. I'm checking the sales, not the sale price. That is so again the same issue. Sale price. Yeah, now it is working. Okay. Load the data from a CSV file, remove duplicate rows based on employees. Yeah, that's okay. I believe it is okay for now. Okay. I think we have done enough for the day. I'll have to go to sleep. Thank you. Bye bye.